because there were secret societies which were against Rome, and of course Rome for 2,300 years has ruled Europe, and for 2,300 years Europe has ruled the world. And so the entire superstructure, what we call the old world civilization, was Europe. Europe ruled the world, and Rome ruled Europe.
And that really is the history. You have the triple agent, British, U.S., and Illuminati, Benjamin Franklin going over to France, getting the support. So in a way, we could say that a branch of the Illuminati really did want liberty, or they wanted to set up their own new tyranny. Which way was it?
That's right. That's right. They wanted their own, and consequently, they did set up an order here, which was the New Atlantis, from which their writings say that they believed that they were setting up a new established Atlantis on the earth that would become a world-dominating power because it was operating on freedom and liberty, and they knew that was going to happen. They already knew what the end result was going to be.
What about the goddess Columbia?
Yes, well, and I was going to say, but at the same time that the illuminated Masonic orders that were against the rule of Europe by Rome saw America as a fertile grounds for a new revolutionary movement in the world. At the same time, the Vatican and Rome realized what was going on, so they came around the back door, as they normally do. They came in the back door through Mexico and began to work on the West Coast with what is called missions. They have Catholic missions and the Vatican missions, and of course, out here in California, we have nothing but missions everywhere. Well, the word mission, look it up in a dictionary.
Missionariat.
Yeah, it means it's a military term. It's a military term, a mission. So when you go to the Catholic mission in California, the word mission is a military term. And this is exactly what's going on right now with opening the borders to Mexico. There was a big celebration in Florida sponsored by the Roman Catholic Church, sponsored a big operation, or a big celebration, of which Jeb Bush attended, and it was sponsored by the Knights of Malta, celebrating the opening of the borders for the Mexican borders. And they've got pictures. I've got pictures of all the cardinals and priests all dancing around, cheering with Mexican flags, waving Mexican flags. It's high crimes and treason against the American Republic. The Republic is being destroyed by European secret societies operating under Rome, and nobody seems to know anything about it.
I totally agree with you. Now, since you brought up Rome, let's get into that in detail on the Jesuits, because we talk about the founding of this country. To be clear, the Roman Catholic Church at that time was dominated by the same mystery school, so it's two different subcults fighting with each other, a kind of spinoff of the main cult, wanting to set up its own new cult, but with some different rules. A, would you agree with that statement? And then B,
yes. Yes.
Okay, B, then now, because yes, it's true, the Catholic Church today is bragging about the La Reconquista. They're helping push it, help teach it in the schools. They want to bring down the United States. I'm not bashing Catholic people. Again, just like the Protestants are controlled. The point is that, are you saying there's still a fissure between this group?
Yes, I think so, because it always has been. Even in the mob families back east, there's always been differences of opinion and problems with territorial rights. And so even in gangs, the Crips and the Bloods, they're always fighting over who's going to eat America up, who's going to have us.
The spoils.
Spoils. Americans, good people never get organized. Only criminals get organized. Criminals are always organized. That's why they're always superior, because they get organized and they think and they have intelligence organizations, and they operate in the dark, and they're very, very
and they're
intelligent.
Ruthless. They're ruthless.
Totally ruthless.
Yeah, and then now they've bred us to be a bunch of mindless saps that can't even read and don't think that there's evil, so we're wide open to it. The devil's greatest trick. Now, I want to go back because I want to stay on Rome and all these issues.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's expand on that, because I'm glad you brought that up. Go back over the basic cults that took over Christianity, what they did when they set it up, and then from that point out, I want to talk about the different subdivisions from your deep study of what the New World Order is divided into up until the European Union, with Tony Blair converting to Catholicism because they're saying you've got to be Catholic to be the head of Europe, preparing him for the EU presidency.
Well, that's exactly right. Look at logic alone would tell you that what area of the earth has dominated the globe for over 2,000 years if it's not Europe? Europe has dominated the entire world. And who has dominated Europe if it wasn't Rome under the Caesars? And then during the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages and the medieval times.
And now they have the Swiss as their bank, yeah.
Precisely. That's why the Pope has a Swiss guard. They're guarding the boss. That's why you have a Swiss guard at the Vatican. I mean, it's an incredible array of darkness and conspiratorial stuff that's been going on. And, as far as I'm concerned, it's so overwhelming in your face when you actually sit in a library and begin to read history and read the beginnings of the secret societies operating like the Knights of Malta, operating in with total impunity. They don't have any problem doing anything in this country.
Now we see Rome going after the Jesuits at one point and the Knights of Malta. From your study, can you divide up those groups? I mean, is that one unified group, or what's happening?
As far as I'm concerned, it is all one group. But as I said, in any organized criminal enterprise on a worldwide scale, there's going to be infighting inside. I mean, there always has been. Even in the old Chicago mob, there was always killings on the street between the different factions.
Yeah, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah, and but it's them feeding on themselves. Now, after they fed on each other and killed each other, then they turn on the public. So it's a mad rush for control and ownership of the human race, and that's a whole story in itself, how the human race is lawfully and legally set up to be owned, how our bodies are actually owned on the stock market, and how...
Well, they call it human resources.
That's exactly right. If you don't go to employment office, you go to a human resource. Just like tin and iron and rubber and oil. It's a resource. Well,
it seems they have a rule, though, to always tell you what they're doing and give you a chance to fight back against them. How does that feed into their esoteric rules?
Well, that's true. There is a lot there that's all you need to do is just go to a library and read it. It's all right there. You can go on the web and go to, just type in, go to Google and just type in commerce game, and you will. And there's a lot of material on how commerce actually, in fact, works. And it doesn't work. Nothing works the way you think it does. Banks, by law, are not allowed to loan money ever. That there is a absolute law. Banks cannot ever loan money because think about it. If you go and put $10,000 into a bank, and then 20 minutes later, I walk in and borrow $20,000 to buy a new car. I just took your money to buy my new car. Suppose I don't pay it back. Now you are out $20,000 because I spent it on my car that I'm not going to pay for. So banks cannot loan money. They have never loaned money.
They loan letters of credit.
Oh, well, that's different. And what is the credit based on?
It is based on you, the slaves, and it's basically an imperial mark saying you've got this credit. That's
right. Exactly. So they're not giving you anything. And once you understand the way a bank works, then you can say, oh, I see how this stuff works. Now I see, But most people have no idea in the world why they go to court. They play basketball and tennis on a court.
Yeah, let's get into the court, because I talked to lawyers, and they admit all this. They pray to the judge. It's all a Saturn ritual.
That's right.
And the judges even know this. This is a temple. That's why the courthouse in the Supreme Court is a temple.
That's right. It is. I mean, they say it is. I mean, even in their records, they talk